Hi, my name is Megan and I will be your instructor today. This is a class that I developed for a book that I call Today I Learn English. It is meant to help you gain more fluency and give you some comprehensible input. That means that it will help you with your listening, which will give you better grammar and the ability to speak and write better. So here we go. You can buy this book by clicking the link in the description. Today we will learn English. What do you want to do? We will learn English by speaking, reading, and writing. And of course, we will listen as well, as you are doing right now. I have a lot to say about learning English. Stick with me and you will learn a lot. All right, now I have some questions for you. What will we learn? English. How will we learn it? By speaking, reading, writing, and listening. And what is the idiom? So the idiom is stick with me and we will learn a lot. The part that you need to remember is stick with me, and then you can have another ending, stick with me. You could say it by itself, stick with me, or you could say stick with me and you'll be fine. You might say that as well. So what I want you to remember, stick with me means stay with me. Okay, and that's our idiom for this. Now I want you to write down all of the present tense verbs. There are 3 of them that you heard. You might listen again. If you're just listening, that would probably be good. And I want you to write down the one present or the one future tense verb. That's will plus an infinitive. So write down the infinitive. Okay, so finally I have some questions for you. What is your strongest skill in English? How? All right, let's answer that. Now I want you to write your answer down and then I want you to speak about it. So in your room, in your house, where you are, just talk out loud in English. It doesn't matter who hears you, just you're taking an online class here, and just speak out loud your strongest skill in English and talk about that. And let me talk about it in Chinese because that's a language that I'm learning, and then you can hear what I have to say. My strongest skill in Chinese is actually speaking, and that's because I have a pretty good pronunciation. I also have a fairly good vocabulary and for basic conversation. I also do pretty well with reading. I have practiced a lot of the characters, and so I can remember a lot of them. So I do pretty well with those things. Writing is not a strong point for me. It is really hard for me to remember the characters. Now, how do you learn English? That's the second question. Now pause the video and give your response. I will give you mine. I learned Chinese by I use a lot of Google Translator because I find that sometimes when I speak Chinese, I don't have the correct grammar. And actually, the translator has pretty good grammar. So there are like a lot of little things that I miss in Chinese that doesn't exactly translate. So translate into English very well. But the translator picks that up. So I use the translator a lot. I will just say something that I'm doing and I'll put that in the translator, or I will, and that's basically what I do. I also do reading. I read my Chinese books and I practice the characters that I don't know. And that's what I do with Chinese. All right, now we're going to move on to another reading that I will read to you. I tried to make 2 readings, one a little harder than the other. So I use a similar content, but beefed up the language a little bit, and beef up means to make a little harder. And that's what I did here with 1B, lesson 1B. All right, I have taught English for 8 years, both in China and in the US. In China, I taught at a college. Then I went back to the US and I taught at Umass Boston and Boston University. I have my master's in teaching English as a second language from Boston University. I am also a second language learner. I study Chinese, French, Spanish, German, and Hebrew. From my experience learning languages and my experience teaching, I have designed this class. It is my hope to help intermediate students become more fluent. I think this is the trouble about languages. You can sometimes stay at the low end even if you do a lot of practice. So I hope that my class gives you some more vocabulary and listening comprehension skills, as well as speaking and writing skills. Now I have some challenge questions for you. Number 1, write about your troubles learning English. So I'll tell you about my troubles with Chinese. Well, Chinese is a difficult language, but it's not that hard to speak it. On the other hand, it is very difficult to write it. So that's a real struggle for me in Chinese, is writing. Now, I'm pretty good at listening, but I cannot understand anything more complicated than daily life conversations. And that's what I'm used to because I lived in China and I had a Chinese husband. So anything like the news or a TV show, I'm pretty lost. And so that's a difficulty for me. I would really like to be a lot more fluent and be able to have more ability to understand. All right, now, what have you found that helps? Well, I found that speaking to Chinese people helps because they often are very complimentary. What that means is they often will say, wow, you did a good job. They really don't often think that people can learn Chinese. And so when they hear me speak Chinese, they think, wow, that's great. and that's a great confidence booster. So boosting my confidence, that means it raises my confidence. And I want you to actually say what raises your confidence, what boosts your confidence. Use that language in your writing. And I also find that doing songs, so what I will do is I will write a little song and I will talk about that on YouTube, and that helps me as well. So I really like to learn through songs, and I don't listen to other songs because it's just too much vocabulary that I don't know. And also, it doesn't help with tones. Now, that's something that's special about Chinese. It has tones, and this is not a Chinese class, so I won't explain that, but I'll explain. It has sounds like ma, 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 ma. Now, that's all different words, and they're different because they have different tones. They go up and down. So you can't hear that in Chinese songs very well. But anyway, I do my own songs, and I like doing that. So that's helpful. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being a part of our language class, and you can find me by email on megan.stillenglish@gmail.com to sign up for individual classes so that you can progress faster by having me as your teacher. Thank you.